Welcome to the How to Become a Successful Online Fitness Coach series, where over the course of the next 8 videos, I'm gonna teach you exactly how to set up and start your online fitness business. But why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Brian Mark and I've been a business coach for the last 6 years. And before I started business coaching, I actually ran my own online fitness coaching company from 2013 to 2018. In that 5-year time span, I worked with over 1,000 online fitness coaching clients and I had over 8 trainers working underneath me at Aesthetic Nation. During that time frame, over the course of the few years, I realized that I was not as passionate about teaching people how much broccoli to eat or what their nutrition goal should be anymore. After 5 years, my passion transitioned to the business side of things where I was mentoring the trainers. So in 2018, I made a major decision to completely fold my online fitness business and go all in on PT domination. And over the last 6 years, we've worked with over 7,500 online fitness coaches. Out of those online fitness coaches, 350 of them have hit $10,000 a month and 15 of them have hit $100,000 a month. Now, I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm here to tell you that I have the blueprint for success when it comes to online fitness, and there's no other mentor in the space that has the amount of years that I have in the game or the amount of credibility. That being said, this video is about you, so let's dive in. First things first, choosing your niche. I'm sure you've heard this quote before, you need to have an avatar. What does this actually mean? A niche is basically a target person that you go after with your content, with your program, and with your messaging. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Brian, I'm smart, talented, and good looking. I can work with everybody. And I agree, you can work with everybody, but the problem is, because there's so many online coaches on the internet, if you try to work with everybody, you end up competing with the big dogs, like Lane Norton, Sebastian Oreb, people that have been in the game for 15 plus years. You can't just come in and say, I'm a generalist, I help everybody, because now you're competing against everybody that's been in the space forever. So the reason it's important to have a niche, as in a target demographic that you go after with your profile, with your content, with your messaging, with your program, is because in a very short period of time, you can become an expert to this group of people. In a very short time, you can become an expert in this arena. And now you're not competing with Lane Norton because what you're doing is you're offering something completely different. Now, if you don't want to pick a niche and you're like, that's not true, Brian, I want to work with everybody. I completely understand, but you're gonna have a really hard time growing on social media. You're gonna have a really hard time signing clients, and you're gonna blend in with the sea of everybody else on social media that puts out basic content that speaks to no one. But here's the thing, when you decide that you're gonna niche down, and you start creating content for a specific demographic, when one of your videos goes viral on social media, and then people come from that video to your page, and they see that every single video on that page is valuable for them, they're going to follow you. They're gonna start listening to you, they're gonna start consuming your content, they're gonna be interested in working with you. So the ultimate goal is to choose a niche for our online fitness business so that we can become the expert in a small arena instead of competing with the big dogs. Now let's talk about some popular niches as an example so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Number 1, busy moms. I have a few clients that are successfully targeting busy moms with their social media content, and as a result of all of their content being dialed into that avatar, they may have a smaller following, but their income is substantial. An example of this is my client Clayton Snyder. He only works with busy moms. All of his content speaks to busy moms. He has 24.6 thousand followers, but he's making over $70,000 a month. Pretty impressive, and it's because he chose a niche. Now, Clayton actually started his Instagram with 0 posts when he first started with me 2 years ago. And because we chose a niche from day one and we honed in on it, those 24,000 people that are following him are busy moms. Another example would be women 35 plus. Another example would be men 40 plus. One of my clients, Nick Conway, the Fit Over 40 Man, only speaks to men that are over 40 in his fitness content. Now, Nick had actually worked with a previous business coach for 6 months, paid him $10,000 and didn't make a single dollar, not one. The first thing I got him to do when he signed up with me is choose a niche. He started putting out content targeting men over 40. Within 1 week, he signed 2 clients. Now Nick is making anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and he's only been with me for 5 months. Another example of a niche is girls that want to build an hourglass figure. One of my clients, Heather Walk, is perfect for this demographic. She has the body that women want, and so she targets women that want to build an hourglass figure, and all of her content speaks to building better lats, a bigger booty, tighter waist, and as a result, all the people that follow her want to get an hourglass body. Heather's making $50,000 a month. When you choose a niche, you can become a specialist in a small arena in a very short period of time. Many people get impatient when they're choosing a niche because when their content doesn't hit right away, they're like, but I'm alienating everybody in my audience. Listen, I get it. And so I'm gonna give you the 3 layers of finding a niche in this video so that you can start creating high value content and you can find the people that you're supposed to work with. Layer number 1 of finding your niche. Speak to your old self. Your past pain points, your past problems, your past frustrations, the things you used to believe about fitness, the things that you struggled with, how much weight you had to lose, why you got into fitness in the first place, what you struggled with confidence-wise. All of these stories about your own journey you are emotionally connected to. As a result of being emotionally connected to your own story, when you start sharing some of the stuff that you went through in your own fitness journey, it's gonna create emotional resonance in the audience because it's real. People are gonna start to reach out to you saying that your story inspired them. People are gonna start to reach out to you saying this content speaks to them. And it's so easy to create content for your past self because you know you best. And listen, if you've gone through a story that you don't think people will be able to relate to, I'm gonna open up about my own story. So I struggled with the drug addiction back in 2012. And I was doing hard drugs for an extended period of time, 6 months straight. Got to a point where I was doing it every single day for 72 hours. And then I'd go to sleep for 24 hours, I'd wake up, I'd do it all again. And I started telling the story on social media, and even people that weren't addicts ended up relating to me because they related to the adversity that I went through. And so by me sharing my story and what I went through in terms of my addiction, it ended up creating emotional connection in my audience because people could see that I wasn't just this fit dude. People could see that I was a real person. And as a result of me being vulnerable, they started to emotionally connect to my story, and that brought in my first few clients. So layer number one is you speak to your old self with your content, your past pains, problems, frustrations, goals, etc. This is gonna create resonance in your audience, which gets us to layer two. Your avatar chooses you. As you start to create content, you start speaking to your old self, what ends up happening is you start attracting a certain demographic. Here's what you need to do is you need to pay attention. You're sharing your story, you're sharing what you used to struggle with, you're sharing some hacks to keep people motivated, you're sharing what you do right now for your nutrition, you're documenting all of your own story, and then you're gonna attract a certain type of person. Pay attention to who's coming in. You might think that you wanna work with men to help them lose body fat, but then you're noticing that your DMs are flooded with women that wanna lose weight. Sometimes you choose an avatar, most of the times they choose you. And so layer number two is really identifying like who's coming into my audience, who's reaching out to work with me. Not only that, but if you've been an in-person trainer before, I want you to pay attention to your past roster. Was it men? Was it women? What was the majority? Now let's say it was men and women. And you're like, Brian, I work with both. That isn't helpful. Okay, who were your best clients? Like who were the clients that were showing up? Who were the clients that were all in? Who were the clients that were super committed? Let's target those people. So layer number one is you speak to your old self. Layer number two, your avatar chooses you. These two layers by themselves will get you your first 5 to 10 clients. Commit to sharing your own story, commit to documenting your fitness journey, and sharing with people who you are. This will bring in your first round of clients, which leads us to layer three. Once you've got the data from speaking to your old self, and you're paying attention to who's coming in, your avatar is choosing you. Layer number three is you take all the data that you've collected from putting out your story and all the people coming in, and you make a decision on who your niche is gonna be. Now, layer number three might not come until 3 months in, 4 months in, 5 months in. So you can start by saying, I help men and women burn body fat and gain lean muscle. That's the starting point. You can create content that helps men and women burn body fat and build lean muscle. That will attract a certain type of person. Then you're gonna pay attention to the people that are coming into your audience, the people that are in your DMs, and you're gonna double down on whatever avatar is most apparent. If you're finding a lot of lawyers in your DMs asking for fitness advice, well then you target lawyers. If you're finding a lot of nurses in your DMs asking for fitness advice, well that's hone in on nurses. If you're finding a lot of moms in your DMs asking for advice, let's hone in on moms. And then once we have that demographic, once we choose that demographic, then we can start doing customer research. So moms over 35, what do they struggle with? What are their goals? What are their common fears? What are their frustrations? What are the reasons they can't take actions? What are their aspirations? What are their primary motivating factors? What are some of the things they believe? Following this process before you decide your niche will allow you to actually choose the right person. Most people, what they do is they just choose somebody from day one. I'm just gonna find my niche from day one. And then they end up doing all this research, finding all this stuff about this person, then they realize they're not even supposed to be speaking to that person. So it starts with you telling your story, then you attract clients. Once you attract clients, you pay attention to who's coming in and you double down on that specific avatar. And that is how you find your niche. So here's your homework. After this video, I want you to sit down and I want you to write about your past self. Here are the bullet points. Write about everything you used to struggle with in your fitness journey. Write about some common myths that you used to believe. Write about your biggest accomplishment in your fitness journey. Write about why you got started in the first place. Write about how you found information when you were looking up your fitness journey. Write up some of the biggest obstacles that you faced when you got started. Write about some of the setbacks that you had and some of the times that you fell off track. Write about the goals that you first had when you started your fitness journey. Are they still the same? Write about some adversity that you've had in your life personally that led you to want to be more healthy. Maybe there's somebody in your family that led you to be more healthy. Maybe there's somebody in your family that motivated you to become more healthy. Write down these bullet points and you will have your first pieces of content. Start putting it out, pay attention to who comes in, and after a period of 1, 2, or 3 months, as you have enough data, choose a specific avatar and hone in on it. Now in the next video, I'm gonna teach you how to set up your social media profile to be a magnet for your ideal client. If this video was valuable, I'd love for you to like it, leave a comment, and turn on post notifications. This is part 1 of an 8-video series where I teach you how to grow a successful online fitness business. And if this was valuable and you'd like to cut straight to the point and you want to skip all this and just get my help with your online coaching business, tap the button below to book in for a call with me and my team, and we'll chat soon.